Hello and welcome to a special presentation of the documentary film One Lost, Many Found by filmmaker Troy Bedenbaugh. Troy is a student and filmmaker from our academy, The Art of Documentary. And this film that Troy created is a beautiful, reflective, meditative story looking at the loss of a loved one told through the voices of family and community. Telling a story about yourself and family is one of the most difficult tasks as a filmmaker, but Troy did an excellent job as he searched to find out who his father was. We'll be releasing more films from our community on a new and exclusive channel, The Art of Documentary, here on YouTube. But we're kicking it off here on my channel today, and this will be one of the first films you'll get to see from the AOD community. So, without further ado, here's Troy Bedenbaugh's film, One Lost, Many Found. Enjoy.
I was 7 years old when my dad died. It's been almost 20 years and I'm just now starting to miss him. Although I don't remember any of the gifts he got me as a kid, he left something for me so much greater. A trail leading me to him. These boards he shaped, they're fading, and along with them are the memories of him.
What did the beach mean to you and Dad as a couple?
Oh my goodness. Well, basically like everything, because that's where we met. In San Clemente. That was his quiet place. We both kind of guarded that for him, you know, because he was so busy all the time.
We probably won't. That's a big deal. I moved here from there.
Did he start shaping on the West Coast here in San Clemente?
Yes, he started shaping on the West Coast. He was a complete shaper. You shape a board and then you have a blank. Someone's got to fiberglass it, sand it, and finish it. Mike taught himself to do all that. So you could go to Mike, order a board, and he was a one-man shop. He could do everything and he'd get it to you as fast as he could.
What was your reaction to my dad naming me after you?
This is taking me a minute. I loved your dad more than anybody in this world. He changed my life.
I want to get like a fish.
That was just such an honor.
I don't know, it seems like
They're fine.
a board that
I just loved spending time with your dad just because of who he was. He was just such a good friend.
like that you always ride.
Here I was, just some troubled kid, He liked me enough to want to name you Troy after me. I was like, well, who am I? Like, I'm just some kid on the beach. Smaller. Now I ride. It meant so much because your dad meant so much to me. Well, I remember when Lauren was first born, and it was not long after that that he moved back to the East Coast. He loved San Clemente, he loved the community and everything about it, but he wanted what was best for the family.
He was the hardest working person I know. He had the best attitude. I never heard him gripe and complain. You know, Mom had to work at night a lot. All the memories come from is waking us up in the morning, taking us to school, picking us up from school, cooking dinner, you know, all the things. Hey, Rosie, do a roll. He was like always there.
Yeah, there's a man with a camera and an umbrella. Okay.
He would, a lot of times after we cooked dinner, cleaned up, he'd go outside and I knew where he was going. In the shaping room, a lot of times I was kind of sitting back, or I would stand kind of behind him. Okay. Oh yeah, I've got to talk with her about that. Yeah. I spent a lot of time with him, and I think that's the time that I miss a lot, you know.
I've always loved smiley faces, and Mike knew that. He was on the steps at the surf shop. He was real proud. He just had this big old smile, and, hey, Marty, I've got your surfboard done, but I got a surprise. He just swung that board around to the back and a big old smiley face on it. And that just made my whole surfing essence at that time just picked off of like, wow, we're gonna be spreading joy, spreading life.
His service was really deep, and Mike was always giving unto people that were less fortunate and couldn't afford a board or clothes or food.
He helped me get jobs and could make money so I could have a place to live. He just showed up one day and said, come out here, I've got something for you. And he talked some guy out of a car and gave it to me.
Anything he sold, he would just, oh, give me $2 for it. I would buy stuff from him. I would steal it from him and pay him $1 or $2. I don't know if that's good business. I think it is good business practice. But he didn't get rich at the time. He was rich with all his friends. All the friends he had, he was plenty rich.
I realized the more I searched for my dad, I not only found him, but he started to find me. When I first started making this film, I didn't know what I would find or how it would make me feel. I was simply chasing a piece of me that I felt was missing for a long time.
Oh, Mom, come here real quick. You guys can. Come here real quick.
I thought you said I'll be there in a
Oh, there you go. Oh, look at this thing.
Oh, wow.
This thing's crazy.
Whoa.
Look at that.
It wasn't until later that I realized exactly where this feeling began.
Wow. Hey, buddy.
But, like, I just thought it was cool how he signed it on the front here, because, like, that's not a normal thing he would do.
I could tell the sun was about to set, and I thought, wow, he's staying out there longer than usual. So I kind of looked, like, off to my left. He had come right about here to this place, and he had his surfboard. And then the closer I got to him, I could feel a presence of something's wrong. There were two women walking towards me, and she looked at me and she said, is he all right? I said, I think it's his heart. In a few minutes, it seemed like EMS drivers were there. They said, what is your name? You know, my name's Mike. And they said, how are you doing? And he said, well, I've been better. He goes, well, I was out in the water and I started to throw up. I just thought he had a heart attack in the water. He goes, well, I'm feeling better now. He goes, yeah, well, you're gonna need to go to the hospital. He goes, but I just made this board. And he looked over at it and I said, baby, I'll take the board, we'll get it. He goes, yeah. And in that moment, in the twinkling of an eye, he was gone. His head just like popped back on my chest. He called you his best buddy. You were just little. You were so little.
Growing up, I didn't really think too much about my dad. The trauma of it all was probably too much for me to handle at that time.
Open it, Troy. What? Yeah! A new football!
Is Tyler outside?
I haven't seen Tyler. Come back. So how's it feel? Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, so you're gonna be more than ever. Oh, I'm supposed to talk into this?
But after talking to my mom that night on the beach, I started to relive all the moments that he missed.
Just want to let you know that I love you, and hope you have a prosperous marriage, a long marriage. If you don't, we're gonna come beat your butt. Absolutely.
Mr. and Mrs. Troy and Alexis
Because when you look at that moment in that life, I mean, surfing, man, surfing. You don't really expect anything like that in that moment.
Near the end of making this film, I began to see my dad in everything. I must have looked at this board in my sister's house 100 times before, but this time I saw it different. In this moment, I felt as if my dad's spirit was still alive, not only in the boards, but in all of us, like he never left.
No, it's just that shot.
This was kind of like the finale. We'd already laid your dad to rest, and this was a memorial for him at the beach. We all signed the board, and we all paddled out together, and we shared our memories. And I think, to look at ink on this wood like we do now is a display of their heart. It really is their heart.
Their heart for my dad.
Absolutely. Whether it was loss at the time, sadness, joy, because there's signatures on here that are filled with joy.
Sorry, yeah, that's my fault.
It's okay.
And just how it really impacted them in their own personal lives. Their relationship with him and how much he meant to them. He continues to impact the world. We've lost him physically to a certain extent because who he was and his personalities lives in all of us that knew him. But beyond that was the glory of what he planted so that it would go well beyond my lifetime, my kid's lifetime, beyond your lifetime, your children's lifetime.